Kofo's network has started again. God, I beg. Okay, let's start with the normal thing. I'll call your name, you tell me good afternoon. I call your name, tell me good afternoon. Please, let's not waste time because today's class I don't think more than 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes tops. So yeah, we'll start. Adejola Samson.
Present, sir.
Adejola Samson. Please speak out, boss. Okay. Next person. Aisha Toshin. Aisha Toshin. Aisha Toshin. Adetumo Bigi one day.
Present.
Akintola Michael.
Yeah.
Alamin Suwamimo.
Alamin is here.
Almini Abib. What is that person? And I think this is the first time I'm seeing that name. Almi Abib. Hi, I don't know.
Yes,
This is
I'm
like
here, sir.
Are you on the
Yes, sir.
leaderboard? Are you on the leaderboard?
Yes, sir.
You're on the leaderboard. What's your name, please?
Alimi Habib.
Are you on the leaderboard?
No, I'm not.
You are not.
No, leaderboard. No.
Because only those on the leaderboard are considered students, though.
Two.
Yeah, only those on the leaderboard are considered students. If you're not on that leaderboard, then there's something else. So maybe after the class, just text me on WhatsApp.
All right, sir. All right, boss.
Yes, boss. Deborah Bello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ayodele Jide.
Good afternoon, sir.
Eweje Abdul Kabir.
Present.
Jehan.
Good afternoon, sir.
I was calling your name since you go to.
I didn't go anywhere. I was actually here.
Lawa Ajibola. Lawal Ajibola.
Yes, sir.
Moyomi Fashion.
Alpha boss. Odami.
Winifred.
Good afternoon.
Okay, Precious. I know Precious is there. Kudus Bankole. Precious, be doing your work now. Admit somebody.
Good afternoon.
Where the Precious meeting? Queen.
Present, sir.
Shoni Koforola.
Present.
Kofo, is your network bad today again?
Yes, sir.
What did you say?
Is your network bad today again? I saw you live like twice, I guess.
I can't hear you. What did you say?
I said, is your network bad today again?
Yes, I don't know for now. I'm still trying to confirm for the next 15 minutes if I know if it is stable or not.
Okay, boss. Solomon Odunusi. Solomon. Oh, he vanished. Did I scare me away? So me.
Present. It's so not so.
It's what?
It's so not so.
Oh, there's no H there. Sorry, I'm not Yoruba, so I don't really. And then there's no. Let's say there's no Ami. If there was Ami I had, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This Solomon.
Oh, Solomon, welcome back. Oh,
Yes, my
Treasure.
network just disconnected.
No problem, boss. Treasure.
Good afternoon.
Treasure, please, can you pronounce this your surname?
You might have been.
What's your other name?
Jerry Mahagbe.
So your name is no, like what's your own name? I know Jeremiah Grace should be your surname, I
My
guess.
name is Treasure.
Treasure, your second name.
Let's just go with Titi Lokpe.
No, I really wanted to hear your second name too. I know you're from Edo State.
No, I'm not from Beto.
You're not? You're
No,
from which
Delta.
state? This is son name, Himayagbe. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's an Edo name. Yeah.
Exactly. Wisdom.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ sà àbí ẹ káàsán.
Morning, boss. Bolo to fair. Where's Bolo to fair? Okay, so let's start. Yeah, today we'll just start with, let's say I'll just start with what do you not understand from last class? Because I got a lot
Hi,
of DMs.
hello, hi. You know how my name.
I thought,
Hi, Osas.
oh, sorry, who's that?
You call my name. I
Bolo to fair.
joined you later, yeah.
I told your name.
Yeah,
Everybody else
person was
Bolo to
down.
fair.
Sorry?
Everyone had me Bolo to fair. And I'm asking every other person here. Because I called your name, Bolo to fair, Bolo to fair, Bolo to fair, and you did not respond.
That must have been network. Honestly, I did not hear.
Okay, boss.
But yeah, it's good. You can go with the class.
Okay, boss.
So I'm
Thanks, boss.
present.
Okay, so a lot of people DM me. They said that they did not understand anything from last class, and so I'd say going over everything that we did at the last class would be that's it too much. So if you don't understand what you did last week, just raise up your hand. I'll call you, and then you just tell me which part you didn't understand, and then maybe we'll just walk through it. Just a quick one. Yeah. So if you don't understand, you can start raising up your hand. Just two. Oh, this is progress. Okay, Precious, what's up?
Okay, first of all, my network got me kicked out, so I wasn't able to mark my attendance. Then the question I have is about the box thing that I asked last week. I didn't really get it. Putting it inside and also outside just kind of confusing. You were saying something about a div tag and some stuff. I didn't really get the explanation.
Okay, so that's your one is advanced CSS. We can't discuss it now. So Precious, you enter my DM. Maybe we'll set up a meeting. Both of us
What
and I'll
about
teach you.
attendance?
What of your attendance? Oh, is that why you're attending class today? It's like you want me to
I
give you
got
knock
kicked out
again.
now. I was in the meeting before.
Yeah, no ish. I know you're present now. Koforola. Why is Kofo? She wants to talk to question. You should drop her.
Sorry, I mute myself. I wanted to ask about the front size.
About the what?
Front size that you
Font
talked
size.
about. Yes. So I was like, okay,
Okay.
basically, let's say you're giving a design now. Like,
Okay.
how will you know what measurement to use in terms of, okay, the front size? You were saying something like pixel, they use more pixel, and you can also use
Yeah,
rem. I mean, like, when you see a particular front size, are you supposed to know that, okay, I'm supposed to use 16 pixel, I'm supposed to use 32? Like, are you going to be giving the exact measurement, or you're just supposed to like figure that shit out?
Okay, so when you're given a design, designers it either be, let's say, Figma, XD, Sketch, whichever one they give you, or majority of them they have this measurements over there where you can click on the particular element and then know the particular size. But now I'll tell you, majority of the time, you can't follow that particular size because your designer may be designing for a very, very large laptop. And then if you start following the exact size you're seeing there on your little laptop, everything's going to look very awkward. So I'd say it's more of, what I say, an instinct, more of you looking at it and then trying out a lot of things. Then whichever works is the particular one you're meant to use. So you can either use Pixel, you can either use RAM, you can use any one you want. All I know for sure that I guess Figma and XD, that's Adobe XD and Figma, their designs usually come in pixels. So you can either use pixels, you can either use RAM. But for you to get the exact font size in the design, it's more of trial and error. So you have to like keep on trying. You first look at it and then look at how big it is. By default, font sizes for designers usually start with 30 picture 30 pixels being like for a very large header. For text, normal text, you can it's either 14 or it's either 12 or 16 pixels. For other types of headers, 24. So if you know all these, or that's if you know the basis of all these sizes, when it's now time for you to like implement designs, you just look at it and then you have to start guessing which particular one it is. You try 30 pixels first. And if 30 pixels doesn't look nice like the design, try 24 pixels. If 24 pixels doesn't work, you try 26, something like that. Not like try and error. You get Kofo. Did I answer your question well?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I saw one more person is up his hand. Okay. Sorry if you still have questions to ask. Someone told me that she doesn't exactly I was expecting that. Oh yeah, Winifred, shoot boss. Winifred. Talk now. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Why is Winifred not on?
Yes, yes. We can hear you.
Winifred,
Sorry,
she's
can
not
you hear
singing.
me?
Oh yes, I can clearly, boss.
Okay. I'm saying that part that you created a separate style, that part you created style.css,
Okay,
and then you're trying to, I don't know whether transfer what you did from the normal index file to the other part.
okay,
I don't understand what exactly you're doing there. And
okay. So
also,
yeah, go on, please.
and that part that you're creating a div inside another div, inside another div, and that part too, I don't understand it.
Okay. So did you get up to the part where I styled my CSS inside the
Yes, yes,
HTML?
yes, yes.
Okay. So now that is internal styling. It's not so different from what I did by creating the style.css file. Only difference there now is the internal. I have to create a style tag inside my HTML. So inside that style tag, that's where I wrote all my CSS. So now instead of creating that style tag inside my HTML, what I did was create a style.css file, then link the style.css to my HTML. Then I just transferred everything I did here inside the style.css file. Because it's basically, without it's one and the same, there's not much difference between both of them. Only thing now is creating a style.css file makes your code neater. And that way it will be very easy for everybody to read. But now, instead of doing that, you can just create it at the top. You can just create a style file at the top. It's basically just the same thing. More like, let's just say I wanted my code to be neater. As I created the style.css file. You get,
Okay.
and then the part where I created a div inside another div. That's basically the same thing that I've always done in HTML. I just created more divs and then I was just hiding things inside. Okay. So today is going to be somehow because there is no light, and so I don't have my second screen with me. So I don't know. have to like manage the class whichever way we can. Can you to the right? Mm, mm. Okay, everyone, open up your VS Code. Start your live server. Like I said, this class will be so short because of my health, and so I just have to make it as quick as possible.
So I don't also have power in my side. So my laptop won't start without power.
Oh, it was no problem. Today's class will be just short. I'll take. I just want to take a bit of margin padding, then font, then I guess that's so margin padding, font, then border. So if I can just teach those little ones, I know okay for sure. When it's time for me to start giving assignments, you guys have something to submit to me. You get. So it's more about what I can give you guys as assignment.
Oh. So you won't be sharing your screen today.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said you won't be sharing your screen today.
I won't be
You're
doing
you're,
what?
you're just going to be like the texting of it. Can you
No, of
hear
course I'll
me?
be. Yes, I can hear you clearly. Of course, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. Okay.
Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Is it my network? Why is everywhere quiet?
He's trying to load the system, I guess.
I think I
Oh,
see my
okay.
Yeah.
screen.
I won't fear seeing on my network.
It's actually
Okay. Yes. You can see it.
he does not feel so it's really small, see, where last month they received the call saying there was a problem with the have to like 4 dogs and so
Okay, so let's starting with I already said all these things since last week. The font size, the font weight, font style, and font family. I can get see my screen, please.
Yes,
Yes, we can.
It's too small.
It's too small. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Okay, is this big enough? Sorry, is this big enough?
it is.
Okay, yeah. Font size. Let me create.
You can actually zoom in on your screen. Like people that are viewing it, you can zoom in. You can't really see what they're saying.
So okay, I want to create an H1 talk of you know. So now the font size now. I want to give this. I want to give this a class name of hey. Remember what I said about class? Remember what I said about IDs? Are you guys with me, please?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear you.
yes, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so the last class I taught IDs, I taught class, I taught different types of selectors. Yeah, so now I want to start for this class of hey. I said in my start says it's hey. So now font size is mostly like you use it to increase the size of the font. And then like I said, there are different values. There is pixel, there is rem, there is em, depending on whichever one you like. But me now, I love using pixels, so I'll say my font size of 50 pixels. Let's say this is now bigger. That's because with this you can change different. We can even say font size of 5 pixels. You can say how tiny it is now. You can say font size of 15 pixels. Font size of 15 pixels. Look at it. So now with font size, you can determine the size of different fonts. And then this does not just work on only H1, it works on your P tag also, it works on your L tag also, like your list tag, works on your list tag also. It works on different things. And then if you are using as along the line, I'm going to start teaching, I'll teach you guys how to use Font Awesome. So Font Awesome is more like a library where you can get different icons from. And so along the line, I'm going to teach you about Font Awesome. And with that font awesome also, you can also use the same font size to determine the size of each icon. Yep. So let's continue. Let me now give this start to be big enough. Let's say font size of 45 pixels. Okay. So now the other one is font weight. Font weight now is it determines how bold your font is. With font weight, you can say, okay, I want my font to be very, very bold, or I want my fonts to be very, very slim. So with font weight, you can like determine let's say the thickness of your font. And say if I say font weight, font weight of 100, and slim. Also note that font weight doesn't use a measurement value. So with font weight, there's nothing like font weight 100 pixels or font weight 50 rem or font weight 50 em. If you do that, it's not going to work. Instead, font weight works with just a value. That's value of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, there are people. Are we sleeping? I just
No.
said okay.
We did.
We are
Someone,
trying
I guess,
to ask your
So can I ask something about this font weight?
please do.
Do we only have to add the numbers in increments of 100? Like, can't there be 120 or 150 or something in between?
There can be.
Okay.
It can be
What
120.
what what
It
about
can be
what's the max?
120.
Like, does it have a
The max.
maximum value?
Okay, so now looking at everything, it doesn't have. Let's say there's no much. Let's say maximum value. But now your font width determines is determined by the particular font that you're using. So if you go, okay, let's just go. Let's say, okay, we want to use a special font. Let's use Google Font. So if you guys go to fonts.google.com, over here, this is Google. This is a Google font, mostly used by developers. So whenever you want to like use different types of fonts, most of the time you get it from here. But now importing font and everything is quite easy though. What I want to point out here now is the styles. So over here, it's from here that you can determine the particular value that you can use. So let's look for Roboto. Okay, this is Roboto, yeah. So if you look at it over here now, you can see this Roboto has different things. Thin 100, there's thin 100 italic, there's light 300, light 300 italic. So all these things now, this value here, these are the font weights. So that means that if you are going to be using this Roboto in your text, the only weight that you can use will just be between 100, 300, 400, 500, 700, 900. You understand now, wisdom?
Yeah, I'm following. So it's the font type or the font family that determines the font weights that
It
can
is
be
the
used.
font family that determines exactly. The font family determines the font weight that you are going to use because every one of them, they all come with they all come with the values of, okay, there's 100. You see some now, some has this 100, 200. But you see, if you look at it now, this Roboto does not have 200. Roboto is just from 100, 300. That means if you are using this font
Yeah,
and then you say font weight of 200, it's
to
not going
not
to work.
work.
It's not going to show anything exactly because the only font weight is expecting is between 100, 300, 500. They don't have the 200. You guys understand?
Right. Yeah, I do understand. Thanks.
Every other person, do you guys understand?
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Okay, that's sound. To Did someone raise up their hand just now?
It's a mistake. It was a mistake.
Okay. Because since I'm not using my normal multiple screens now, I have to like try my best to like make the thing smaller. Who wants to ask a question?
Eh?
I have a question. I've missed the bits, like they took off the light, so my Wi-Fi disconnected. So, how do we get to these fonts that you're showing us now?
The most one by the right. I see the one by the right.
And the one by the right.
Yeah, I went to font.google.com. fonts.google.com. So
Okay.
and then I think through here we are going to even import. I'm going to teach you guys how to import fonts since we are underneath fonts right now. Okay, so now okay, so the next one is font style. So the font style is mostly this is like what you know already. There is, as you can see the option here, there's italic, there is normal. By default it is normal, there is oblique. So if you say italic, font style of italic, you can see this basically the text became slant. So with this, it's more like, let's say you are building a website and then you want to quote somebody, most of the time when there is like a quote in an article on the web, you see most of the time it's always in this italic. Then there is font family, and then with font family you can see by default your as the VS Code will give you a lot of options. So over here you can choose whether it's Georgia, sans serif, Times New Roman, whichever one you want. So let's choose Georgia. You see now this one is different from before. Then because it's a new font family. So now let me now teach you guys how to import. Let's say you have custom fonts now. How to import custom fonts. There are two ways. One is getting it from Google Fonts, that's from the internet, while another one is importing it from a folder on your device. Well, now both of them they both work the same way, but I'd say the one from getting Google, the one from Google Fonts is let's say more effective. So now let's say this Roboto now. Let me check. I think I already have some selected. Let me remove everything that I've selected before. Go forward. Yeah, empty. Okay, so now if you go to this if you go to Google Fonts now, and then I'm selecting Roboto. I want to use Roboto. So I select Roboto. So over here now, I can now select, okay, which particular fonts do I want to use? Okay, I'm going to need this thing 100. Okay, I don't want the italic. I want a light of 300. I want regular of 400. I want medium 500. I want bold of 700. And then I want black of 900. If you go to the top, let me try and okay, yeah. So if you go to the top right here, let's say view selected family, you see everything that I have selected, they'll be here. And Google Fonts is going to give you Google Fonts is going to give you two different options. One option is to use link. Remember what I said about using link? If you want to use link, you'll be adding it to your HTML. Another one is using import. So this imports now with CSS. And like this is what developers use most of the time. So I just have to do is just copy this at import, and then you go to your VS Code, the top. Advisable to put at the top. This is where I now said that you need active internet connection, because every time you reload your page, there is this web request that is being done from your laptop, whereby this font is being fetched from Google. You can see the link is here. Google font.googlelips.com / the name of the family and then the weight. Sorry, give me a minute, please. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Solomon, you have a question? Please go on.
Which one is better to use, link, import, or download all?
Import is best. Import is best.
Why
Yeah,
is
so
why is it best?
why is it best? Okay, because import is directly in your CSS, and then it's always very easy to use, always very easy to understand. Because where do you need these fonts? You need it in your CSS, not any other place. Then why not put it to your HTML?
Okay, and you can
Exactly.
import as many as you like.
You can import as many as you like.
Okay.
Like there is, let's say that There's no limit to the number of link you can put here. You can put 50 if you want. The only thing used to differentiate all the fonts now is this font family, this part. So if I copy
Okay.
this font family now, let's go. Oh, 24. So now this font family part, now I'm changing it now to font family Roboto. You see now this is the Roboto before, and then by default it's taking this 900 because it's H1. So I can now say, okay, my font weight 100. What's not working? Exactly. Because I did not select any italic. So adding this font style of italic started affecting the font because if you look at it, I did not select any italic font. Not the font I selected, none of them did the italic. So immediately I removed when I removed that font style of italic that I put there before, the font width for now 100. Remember there's 100 in Roboto. Note 200. What's the next font size? 300. This is 300. Then there is 400. Then 500. Then 700 or 600. Then 900. If you notice now, all these fonts, all of them, they all have different sizes from the 100 to the 300 to the 400 to the 500. So aside the button, now you can do this for every other different type of font. All you just have to do is you import the font at the top, then add the font family to the particular font that you want to change. Let's say if it's H1, if it's T tag, if it okay, someone wants to ask a question. Please go on.
Sorry, I'm taking you back. It's concerning the way you brought the link. You imported the link to the CSS file.
Okay.
Please can you do that again?
Okay. So what I did was I went to the after selecting my font here, I came over here to selected family, and then there is link, then there is import. So under the import, what I did was just copy this thing here, just the import. If you check it very well, it starts with style. There's this style at the top and style at the bottom. That's not what we're looking for. It's just the import. So what I did was just copy just this import. Control C. And I went to my code editor and then Control V, pasted it. Then after that, if you go down, you can see font family here. So I just copied the font family and then added it inside what I want.
Thank you.
You're welcome, boss. Any other question, please? Any other question? No question. Okay, let's go on. Yeah, so that is all about fonts. That's all about styling of fonts. You guys should just know that you can add color also to the font. I'm sure I talked about this a lot the last class. You can now go for the color. Or you can like have different types of colors from the font type and everything. Yeah, so another thing I would like to teach you guys is background property. Yeah. So let me create a new URL. So for the background property, there's background color. There's background color. There is background. There's background image. There's background size. There's background size. There's also background position. Yeah. For background, we have background color, we have background image, we have background size, and then we have background position. So now to test this out, okay, I already have a tag here. The div tag is holding this my 8 point. Let me just name it. Let me give it the class name of card. Class name of card. Now I'm calling my card now dot card. To test the background color. So just the way, would I say, just the way the CSS name is, it explains everything. Background color. Sorry, a minute, please. No, sorry, Jerry. Yeah, so for the card, just with the let's just with the naming, like background color. Let's say background color of red. If you can see now, this background changed color red. So now this particular one works for, let's say, works for everything. If you notice, we have like our body tag. We can start for our body tag. We can say body background color of green. Everything will change to color of green because now I've started for our body. Say body background color of purple. You get this. So now one thing you should know about colors now is there are, when I say, are different forms. There are different forms of colors. You can either put them in names or you can put them in X. You can put them in RGB. RGB is red, green, and blue. Okay, please go on. Who's asking the question? Does someone want to ask a question? Oh, someone wants to. Deborah, please go on.
Yes, I wanted to ask the card that you put like before the background color of red. The card indicates what? Is it the section of the text?
Okay, now, so if you see now, I put the text in the div.
Yes.
It's just the, what that is, the container that's holding the text. Because you know, like I said before, I said it's best able to like use div to like section things, use div to partition things. So if I add like a key tag now, say lorem, if you check the output now, we see it's still inside that red because that div is more like a container that's holding the text.
Okay.
Okay. So now I said for colors now there is RGB, there is X. I don't know if you guys did if you're familiar with computer, let's say computer terms, not just computer alone. If you're familiar with binary from secondary school, you know when you say okay binary, then see the X values, that's okay, all these things they should not have more than 7, they should not have more than 6. So when you hear X values means everything must not be more than 9, I guess. Yes, you can only have values from 0 to 9. But now the X in let's say the X in CSS, the X accepts from 0 to 9, and then from the A B C D, yeah, from A to Z. Yes, A to Z, 0 to 9. That's the X. So now instead of having this color of purple, now I can say I want my color to be ash. Ash is how you call your X. Then 000. This is black. So the background is black. hashtag FFF is white. You can say you want hashtag of EEE. That's like somehow gray. There's a hashtag of Z0. Go on, please. Who wants to ask the question? Oh, someone wants to enter. Where is Precious? Precious, this is meant to be your duty. You are meant to admit people, Precious. Is she still on this call? Okay, for Precious.
Yeah.
Why not admitting people?
I'm not seeing any request here.
Why would you not see any request? You're still meeting host now. I made you host. Let me check. And now meeting host now. You can see people, boss. Okay, let's go on. So the color you can, there are different ones you can use. Hashtag, okay, there is 333. Yeah, the 333. So I'd say when it comes to colors like this, you go and make your research on your own, as there'll be nobody that will be ready to teach you colors. This is not a design class. If it's to be a design class now here, I would have gone in depth teaching colors, combination of colors, and all. But now this is a front-end class, so you can go to. Let me drop a link on the chat. Yeah, so there's color, colors. Yes, if you just go on the internet and then search these colors, you should be able to see. There's this site where you get colors, color combination or colors.co. Okay, explore trending. Right. Yeah, so you can see there are different color palette, and then you see they are giving you this x, this x value of okay FF AFCC BDEOF. Let me drop the link to this in case anybody wants to try out different types of color combinations. Yeah, so that's the link in case you want to try out different color combination. I advise you guys save it up so you can use it. So let me just copy this and then come over here, paste it. So if you check out and see the background color has changed now to the exact color I copied from there. Okay, someone Zainab, go on. Zainab, you joined late. Zainab, go on, please. Zainab. Did she raise hand by mistake? Winifred, go on, please. Where's Winifred? Winifred, can you hear me?
It's not working. Okay, yes, it's working now. Sorry, please, I'm confused though.
Okay,
This
from where, please?
do you link your CSS with your HTML? Because mine is not changing.
Okay. If you check the top of my HTML, I have this link file here. Ooh, let me expand this. Okay, you can see this link file here. So this is how I linked my CSS. I already have the CSS created, and I came over here and said link, and then see to show option of CSS. But now clear out this that href, clear out everything there. Then say dot slash, try and find the CSS, then click on it.
Okay,
So you get.
thank you. Yes.
Any other question, please? Is it me or I can't hear him well at all? Zainab. Can every other person hear me clearly, please?
Yes.
we can.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, that means this up.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, so let me copy this other color. Color looks nice. and then change my background color. So you can see, voila, my background color has changed. So which other thing let's say again? Okay, background color is done. Background image. Okay, yeah. So with background image, you can add images as the background of your text. To call that out, it's just you just use the normal background. We type in background image. So now one thing you should notice now is your background. If you are using background image and background color at the same time, they will both get affected. And the background image by order of hierarchy is going to background color is going to overthrow your background image. So to use a background image, let me get one image. So where can I get? Let's see my pictures. I guess I have a very nice image here. So I'll just copy one image, then go back to my folder. But I'm sure everybody here should be familiar with how to add images to their folder. I know we already talked about that in the last class. So yeah, add an image then. And so to add background image, you say background image, then you add URL. URL means link. Then you open a column, dot slash, like I said before. Options, VS Code is going to give you options to the exact file that you want. So I'm selecting this file. If I save, and then if I open it up, you can see I have my image there. But now I have both color and image together. And then whichever one is under, it covers it down. So now let me take this my color down. Let's say I take my background color down. I need to cover it too. But now let's say that there's going to be a particular time when you want to use both your image and your color at the same time. That's where something like linear gradient comes in. Linear gradient is more like, let's say, putting this nice gradient color. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the word gradient. So you can also use linear gradient. But now to use linear gradient, you can't specify background image or background color. Instead, you just specify it as background. Then you can now use linear gradient, this. But we won't journey much into that right now. As you can see now, my image is already working. Who is trying this out? Is the image working? Who is with me, please?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, that's one. Is Jian still on this call?
Yes.
Okay. Where is Deborah Bello?
Sir, I'm here, but the thing is that my laptop
It's
cannot work
working.
without power.
It's working.
Oh, okay. Where is Shonui Kufurala?
It is working, no.
Okay. Where is Yewande? Is Yewande still on this call?
Hello.
Hello, I'm still on the call, but I've not been able to do it yet.
You're a boss. We both know you're a boss. So I should not be bothered. I just wanted to know if you're on the call or not.
Yes,
Okay,
I
yeah,
am.
Solomon,
Thank
please
you.
shoot. Okay. Solomon, please shoot.
Did you use that background image to bring in the image?
Yes, I did. So what I did was,
Please, can you redo it?
let me
Redo
explain
it.
something.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do now. So if you check this out, let's see. Okay. You can see my background is still this particular color. So then I added background image, then URL, enter, then you add this to dot slash, like I told you before, to locate a file. And then I have this option of my image already. So I selected it, and then voila,
Okay,
image is
thank
there.
you. Let me try it.
Yeah. So now let's go to the background size. So as you can see now, the image I'm putting now is, let's say it is bigger than the background because of this particular size. Because I know if I elapse this now, you can see still it's way bigger. And then you want this thing to fit. So you can say background size, cover. So you can see now the image is trying to like fit my particular background size. But now I'm having this image in two places. One, two. Sometimes you don't want that thing to repeat. So what can you do? You say background repeats. Repeat. It stops the background from repeating. So now the background doesn't get full, doesn't cover everywhere. You can also say background, there's also background position, center. And align the background to the center. So I guess we check this out now. So there's also a contain value. Instead of cover, there's a contain. Background size contain. Background size. The background size has there are different values there that I can try out with the background size. Background size. That is auto, this contain, there is cover. You go down, there is inherit, I guess, yeah, initial, onset. So whichever one that you feel is cool for you, you roll with that. Do you guys understand?
Yes,
Show
I
you
understand.
another one,
Yes.
please.
Yes, we understand.
Yes.
Okay.
We understand very clearly.
Let's say one more before we call it a close today, and then I shoot you guys your assignments. Oh. Okay, so now this one is going to be spacing. I'm going to need everybody to be very attentive here because this is, should I say, this is very, very tricky. And then it took me time. To like understand it. I'm going to like, I want to remove the background, everything I'm presenting from around, because I want my background to be as plain as possible. Body as yeah. So now spacing. Let's move this guy. So with spacing is more like, you see this particular all these spaces that we have over here. Now there are sometimes that you want to manipulate them and then let them have, let's say, what you want. Inverters. I want to use inverter selector to like remove all the spacing and also margin. Okay. So now what I did now was I used inverter selector to like remove all the, let's say, all the default padding and margin. So padding is more like, padding is used for adding space. Margin is also used for adding space. But the only difference between both of them now is one works outside, the other works inside. So now with margin, whenever you add a margin, you tell your particular container that outside of you, that's outside the particular container, I want you to have space. So now let's go back to my card now. I want to like, let me give it the background color so we can like see how it's working. Background color, look at my favorite color again. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So now, if I want to add, what I say, I want to add space around it, I have to use margin. So now I can say margin top. Margin top means the top of the container. I want to add. So margin top, I can say 30 pixels. If you check, you see there's this space between the both of them. I can say margin left, margin left of 30 pixels or so. You can see the space here, the left hand side. I can say margin right, 30 pixels. So you can see like it's adding the space around it outside. But now, what if I want to add this space inside, and then I still want it to keep this background color? But that's what you do most of the time. Let's say, okay, you need to add space inside, and then you don't want the background color to leave. That's when I start using something like padding. You can now say padding top. If you say padding top of 20 pixels, you see now there's a top inside. The background color is still there, but now there is this space at the top. You can say padding left 20 pixels. It's still adding that space, but then the background color is still like the container is still maintaining that size. So that's the difference between margin and padding. Margin works outside, padding works inside. I would say this clearly. If I would love to say this thing clearly. If you can fix something with margin, don't use padding. So padding is, let's say padding is quite crazy. If you don't know how to use your padding right, you can give yourself a very big problem. Because sometimes whenever you're specifying width and then start adding this margin top, margin left, one thing you should know now is you are adding more width to it. So if I say I want this container to be a width of 300 pixels, and then I give it a margin right of 30 pixels, by default, that container has a width of 330 pixels. Fine, the container will still be 300 pixels, but if you're now doing calculations, especially when you're working on, let's say you're working on media query and some other crazy stuffs, that particular margin is going to affect. So if you can use padding, use padding. So instead of using margin left, and you can use padding left to fix the issue, just use padding left. When you use padding, you're still maintaining that same 300 pixels for the container. So if you say, okay, padding left of 50 pixels, the size of that container is still 300 pixels. But if you say margin left of 50 pixels, sorry, you did not get that? I had someone say something just now. Okay, what was the mistake? Yeah. So if you like, let me just recap now. If this container is 300 pixels, if the container is 300 pixels, and I give it a margin, yeah, that's what I'm explaining it again. I'm saying if you don't have a reason to use margin, do not use margin. So most of the time, you use margin to add space for, let's say you have multiple container in a particular box. Let's say you have one big mother box and then you have like 6 containers inside, and then you want to add space between them. That's when you use margin. But now, if you don't have a reason to use margin, don't use margin anyhow, because margin is going to add extra width to your container. So let's say I made this container 300 pixels. This container 300 pixels, and then I give it a margin of 30, margin left of 30 pixels. Know that your container is no longer 300 pixels, it is now 330 pixels, because margin is going to add width to it. But instead, if you give it a padding of 30 pixels, you still see like the space, but this time the container won't be changing. So if you say a padding left of 30 pixels, your container is still 300 pixels. So do you understand now?
Yes.
Okay. So now let me teach you guys shortcuts. So in JavaScript, in CSS, there are shortcuts to writing things like that. It's like things like margin, padding, border. Instead of wasting your time writing, okay, padding top, margin top, margin top, you can just do something like margin. Just call margin alone. The first value is for the top. So I'm saying 10 pixel. That means my margin top is 10 pixel. The next value is for right. So now I want to, okay, my margin right, I want it to be 10 pixel. 10 pixels. And so now the next value is for bottom. Remember I said the first one is top, the next one is right. So the other one is for bottom. My bottom 10 pixels. And then the last one is for left. So left 10 pixels. Okay. So now see it's more like a box. So instead of writing your margin top, margin left, margin right, you can just write it in short form like this. So count it like, let's say it's clockwise. So now you have your top, after top, right, top, after top, right, after right, bottom, after bottom, left. So that's how this thing is. So you can also do that with padding also. You can say padding top 30 pixel, padding right 40 pixel, 40 pixels, padding bottom 40 pixels, padding left 30 pixels. If you look at it very well, you see this top 30 pixel, the left 40 pixel, it's larger than the right 40 pixels, larger than the left 40 pixel, bottom 40 pixels. So do you guys understand?
Yes.
Tudum,
Yes. Yes.
that sound.
Yeah,
Did
yeah, yeah, we do.
someone raise their hand, who's that?
I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
You know when you started doing that padding, I thought from what I think I understood from the beginning, I thought padding does not like make the container change in size. Wrong.
Yes, it doesn't.
But when you started putting the padding 30 pieces, it felt like the container was looking bigger, like it was looking bigger to me now.
Bigger. Okay, so
It's
I'd
not
say
like
the only thing that increased, the only thing that increased is the height, but not the width of the container. The width of the container did not increase. It's just the height of the container.
so that means the
Because
height
if you
can
look at it
increase, but the
before,
width,
the width cannot increase exactly. Because if you look at it before, this text, the span from the left and the right, they were touching the wall. But instead, they went into and then they have this more line. Like let me comment out the padding. So if you look at it, down 1, 2, 3, 4
pick the call now.
short lines and then no spacing at all. But then when I added the padding, more line, they're all shorter. So you can see that what happened there was the container, it became smaller inside the container. So all the text that like adjust to that small size. If you try to be imagine now, this thing, it's not going to adjust. Like let me show you again. Let me say, okay, this is my right, let's say 40 pixel, and then left 40 pixel. You can see it is still touching the wall, but then around it, that's when there's now space. So now I see the difference between margin and padding. Margin is outside, padding is inside. But now the width of this container now is more than what you are seeing now. This part that there's space now is also the width of the container. If I inspecting like this, let me expand this and turn this to. So if I try and over around this container, the card, you can see this orange line around it. The orange line around it means that this part is also the size of the container. So you understand when I was saying that okay, adding adding margin increases the size of the container, but padding doesn't. So because of the margin that I added now, this particular container now, it's now having that orange sign. So if I remove it, if I put on the padding, so you can see difference between margin and padding. One is inside, the other one is outside. Do you understand now? Person asked that question. I think I saw the name.
Yeah, I do think so. Yes.
Okay. We said that thing. I thought margin, I thought padding, I thought color. Okay, another question.
Please, I want to ask about. I once asked about this stuff during our HTML class. I said these boxes, most times, maybe all those boxes for messages, drop your messages. The edges are always blunt. You said you are going to like brief me on it, yeah, during CSS class. So I don't know.
Yes, boss. I've not really, that's it. I've not really gotten to that part. But then let's do that with the. Let me show you with this. So I want to add the. Okay, let's refresh this. So the margin can show. Yeah, put on the padding also. And this padding is too much. Okay, everything like this. So now what we're saying is the edge of those boxes, they are like smooth or be curved.
Yes. Blunt, curved, exactly.
That's that's the that's the job of border radius, called border radius.
Okay.
So if we say border radius of 10 pixel and see what happens to the edges. Something like
Oh,
this, Abi.
exactly.
It's called border radius. So they are just there's this border property. Since you have made me enter it, it's more to your assignment. You guys are welcome. So now let's say my H1 now. There's this border property of border bottom. Border bottom. You can say 1 pixel solid. Then after the solid, the next thing you have to add is the color. Something hashtag 000. Maybe see there's this underline that's showing there.
You are doing already.
So you can even put it as border. If you put it as just normal border, it shows round it like this, like a
Okay.
box.
Okay, the element is just border.
Yes, just border. So now you now start using. Okay, Kofo, please shoot.
I don't get this border thing you're doing right now. I don't get it.
Okay, so now what I say border like the name implies most is line, just mean line. That's the underline, the adding lines to a container, but it doesn't just work for a container, it works for both text, works for everything. So to call up the property is border. Yeah. So border. Once you call up the property of border is expecting three things from you. One, how large should the line be? That's the width of the line. How large should it be? Should it be very, very thick or should it be very, very slim? Two, what type of line? Do you want a solid line? Do you want a dashed line? There are different types of lines. Three, what's the color of the line? That's what border is expecting. So now let's say, okay, we want our line to be as thick as 10 pixels. Say, okay, I want it to be 10 pixel thick. Then once you have put that, the next one now is how should it be? Should it be solid? That means like a normal straight line, or should it be dashed? So you can say dashed. And after that, you now ask what's the color? By default, you can see it's taking the color of the text by default. But I cannot see color of red. So you see, border takes three properties. It's expecting three commands from you. One, how thick should the line be? Two, the style of the line. Is it dashed? Is it solid? Three, the color of the line. So now let's now say we don't want this border to be everywhere. Okay, another question is that. Shoot, please.
Okay, sorry. I wanted to ask that since we can, you said that we don't have to name each of these border, that we can just put it on a straight line like you are doing it. Can we do the same for font size, font weight, and font family as well?
Yeah, it's possible to do it that way, but then I won't advise you to do it that way. There's some things that you can do that way. Like I said, for border, by default, border comes that way. You can also do it as okay, border with border, but that's stress. So by default, we do that. The thing now that we only do this particular short form for is mostly just padding margin. Because most of the time you don't want to make mistakes. Even I myself, with my years of experience, I still make mistakes whenever I'm writing this thing. So I just prefer to just write my things JJ. go through that stress. I know that okay, what I'm writing is perfect. Now for me to now write something very, very nice and then I start finding issues. You get?
Yes, I get it. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. So you guys have that for border. One other thing I also want to teach is text. I already talked about the font size and everything. But now, what if you want your text to be at the center? What if you want it to be at the right? So you can have something like, where's that my card? Over here, if I say text outline, center, all my text, the all goes to the center. You see? So instead of putting it in the container, I can say, okay, I want only my each one to be at the center. I can just say text outline, center. See, only the each one goes to the center. That one is just quite easy. It's just like aligning text. You can say it to the center. You can say it to the right. Just go to the right. You can say it to the left. And don't forget your padding and margin. You can add it to anything. So that means if your H1 tab and have a padding bottom of 30 pixels. You can see it gives a space between it and the text. Show you.
Yes.
Shoye.
Yes. So.
Hmm. The reason why I'm shouting this Shoye now is because the assignment is coming.
Koye.
Who did you know ye?
You padding whatever that you just did now.
That one. Yeah, it's more like the one I did before. But this time I just added it to the text. Added it to that H1. I gave it the padding bottom of 30 pixels because I wanted the space between the, remember over here I have my H1 and then I have a P tag. So I wanted it H1 P tag. So I wanted a space between the both of them because there was no space before. So I gave the H1 the padding bottom of 30 pixels to give it space between it and this one. You get now?
Yeah, I do know.
Show ye.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
This show ye now. I'm going to start calling names.
Yeah,
Everybody will answer me one after the other. Because now I want to give assignment. I mean, I don't want to hear any okay or something happened, though. This one happened, though. Chicken gave birth to goat, oh. Lion gave birth to elephant, oh. No excuse at all. I did it to Milen. Is it here? Show ye. I did it to Milen. I did Jola Samson.
Yeah, I understand.
Aisha Toshin. Yeah, 2 hands are up. Okay. Kofo. Kofo, what's the
Okay,
question?
my problem is I still don't understand that border something. Like I don't understand it. That one has to do with that takes three properties, the measurement, the whether it is dashed or whatever, and the color. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it when you say border, my mindset is like the border is supposed to be like the edges. Well, now that it's taking the inner part, it's confusing me. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get. Okay, so border. Border. Just imagine border as a line.
Okay.
Border. Once you call up that property border in CSS, you just have a line around your whole property, more like a box. So now, like I said before, your CSS property, your HTML properties are all like they are blocks, layer upon layer upon layer. That means by default, they all have that line. But now you can't see that line except you call it out. That's where we use like let me use this big pattern and say border. Once you say border, you have called out the line already that, okay, there is a line around this thing. Now I have to specify how thick should my line be. You can say 3 pixels. What type of line is it? Is it dashed? Is it solid? Is it solid? What's the color? Let's say green. If you check now, if you see this particular container now, everything that's going around it now, it's green.
Yeah.
So now, if you don't want it now, if you don't want this thing to be everywhere, you can now see something like other left. Same thing, 3 pixel. solid green. See, only
No,
the left has
sorry.
that
The
border.
one you did before, sorry for continuing. So the one you did before was
Okay.
all over that A boy. Do you
Yeah, that's
get that?
because I went to my my H1 tag. That's what I styled. H1 has that class of hay. So I went to my class of hay and I said, okay, border n pixel,
Sorry, can I see your H1? Okay,
n
just for the.
pixel dashed.
I was thinking.
You're thinking what? Kofo?
I said I was. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. Like
I
my
can hear you. I
problem
can
was
hear
I
you.
was thinking you styled everything. I didn't know you styled that just card. So it was just
No,
going
it
to
was just
reflect on
card
the. Yeah, so I was
on the
thinking
card
you
alone.
styled
Exactly.
everything. That's why I was
No,
confused.
no,
That
no,
why it's
no,
not
no.
showing. Yes. Thank you.
No, no, no. Okay. So show you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Exactly. Okay.
Yes,
For your
yes.
assignment. For your assignment.
Eh?
For your assignment, I am expecting a very Moyo, you ask your question.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, how can you make something like into a circle? Like maybe a box or anything into a circle.
Increasing our assignment.
That's the thing. For every question you ask, increases your assignment. So now let's say this our A boy now. Remember what I said about the border radius? Border radius makes edges curve. The border radius. I'm giving my A boy now a border radius of 20 pixels. Every edge of my border radius is going to be curved. So now let's not say I want to make this in a circle. Instead of giving the test, just a border radius of 50%. 50% is a circle. It makes whatever you have a circle. But now this A boy, and I guess there are paddings around it. Yeah, there's a padding bottom, and then the text aligned to the right. So if you want to make things circle, things that you can use is now let me make this my A boy a circle now. I remove the padding, I've removed the text. All I just have to do is say, okay, height of 50 pixel. You have to make sure it's the perfect square. So height of 50 pixel, width of 50 pixels. Once I show it's the perfect square, you see what happened here? It becomes a circle. So now let's say, okay, height of 500 pixel, let's make it 500, then width of 500. And so I don't know if you can see that now I have like a perfect circle. So Moyo, does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thank you.
What you do to make things something a perfect circle, you specify the height, specify the width, make sure it's a square, then give it a border radius of 50%. It becomes a perfect circle. As you can see, my boy now is a perfect circle. Okay, we would have loved to go a bit deep, but then we can't go a bit deep into CSS today. So we'll just stop here. And so for your assignments, drum roll, please. Everybody worked on the tribute page last time. Yeah, your tribute page was very, very ugly. Let's be very frank. Let's be very frank. Very, very ugly. The most ugly tribute page I've ever seen in my life. That's what you guys made the last time. So now you have to add life and color to your tribute page. Now you guys should open your, those people that are giving me one line as tribute. This time I'm not expecting one line. I want a total documentary of what you did the last time. All of you that did Michael Jackson, people that did Nelson Mandela, I know. I still have your last assignment. You ask a question when I'm done, please. I still have your last assignment. So now I am going to compare your last assignment to this one. It must be the same thing. But now I want, I want a very, very large description of your tribute page. So now you have to style your tribute page. You have to make it beautiful. Now I'm going to be styling for beauty. You are not going to have, there will be no templates. Think of a template on your head. And so I'll be scoring for beauty. I'll be scoring for a lot of other things. if I say anybody use Flexbox, or if I say anybody use CSS Grid, I'm going to penalize you because I don't know who taught you that, and obviously cannot be me. So hope you guys are here. Shall you one day more your precious? If I see CSS Grid, if I see CSS Flexbox like this, I'm going to throw your assignment in
Which
the
team
bin.
will
In
you
fact, that
do?
one is straight up zero. Yeah, Kufu, ask a question.
You know, in one way now, sorry, Bolu, don't be offended. In one way now, you have counted me among the guys. Because earlier on, I was hearing everyone asking you, you are caring for the ladies alone. But then I didn't hear my name, no problem. Now you've counted me among the guys. And you're telling me I don't see any flex. That thing I know how to do flex. I'm a beginner now. What's all this? All this? I don't understand.
It's okay. The thing I already told you guys, majority of you guys use your, what I say, use your present GitHub profile. Use your present GitHub profile for the assignment.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Let me see. I was gonna say.
I was
My
expecting
GitHub
your,
profile.
so
Never past 2 days, or like it's not just, it's like maybe 5.
Moyo,
I'm serious. I didn't have a GitHub page since, like, I don't even know what's in the GitHub.
Moyo, your own now. Okay, can you guys hear me, please? Oh my god. I muted myself. Moyo has even left, sir. That Moyo, when he comes back, I'm going to drag his here. Kofo, you want to ask a question? Kofo. Oh yeah. Yeah, Kofo.
Finally, I wanted to say my last assignment. Yeah, you know they want full description. But I have to like add to it since they say you're going to compare.
If you
Because I didn't make it that I didn't like give full details about the person. I just it was
yeah,
just
if
little.
you, let's say if you have at least, if your tribute page can cover like the whole screen of my laptop, like everywhere like this, exactly, then you have tried.
So that means
You
do we
get,
have to remove that table and the other one we did? We should remove it.
remove the table. I'm not saying you don't trust that assignment though. You're creating a new GitHub repo for it. You're creating I'm not a new GitHub account too. A new GitHub
No, like I said,
repository.
so we're not touching the
Exactly.
last assignment.
You don't touch the last assignment.
So this one I don't too much like this.
Oh my god, too much your box. Yeah, oh yeah, more your talk.
The triple page, it must be the last person we used and the exact same HTML stuff that we wrote.
Not the exact same HTML. What I want is this exact same topic you chose the last time. Like I chose that doctor now.
Or we can just start something new over again.
So you can start something new over again, but it must be that same doctor. I mean, she's not a doctor this time.
That same doctor, but something new.
Exactly. Something
She's a
new, but that
doctor.
same doctor. Exactly. Where is Jayan?
Okay.
I am here. I am here.
Yeah, exactly. So Jayan, it is one page. Jayan, it is one page. If you like, go and section out your tribute page again into 3 pages. It
Sorry,
is one page.
I want to ask a question. No.
Okay, shoot, Malga.
Okay, concerning the tribute write up that you asked us to write, are we supposed to like write everything again, or just pick out of what we wrote before and then add to it?
Yeah. So if the tribute page did the last time, if the content you drop is plenty, you can just use the same content. But now style it, give it color, give it background, text to the left, text to the right. If you don't have Dino Juju decoration, I'm seeing rainbow color.
Okay.
I'm styling for beauty, Sha. Okay. Kofo.
A person will die, I use. So she have used black color, man, do everything darkness.
Calm down, Mo, you're someone's talking.
Creativity.
Okay, go on.
Like I'm saying, you're studying for beauty now. For people like me now that we don't really know how to style, like when it comes to that creativity part, I know that top. Like
then that's right. That's why we have Google there. Go to Google, look for tribute page on Google.
I just wanted to say
Take
that can we
ideas
just
from
gonna
there.
copy like that's
Ideas. Of course, but if you copy code, I keep on saying it. I don't know about other people, but me, I enjoy reading codes. So I can sit down, carry pen and paper, and I'll be reading your code as if I'm reading ABCD. So if you copy code, I am going to know.
Very
Because
good.
I know how everybody particular, how your, would I say, how your styling convention is going to be like. So if you copy code and then I see it, I am going to know. And trust me, I enjoy giving people zero. Like I said, true. After this meeting, Thanos is coming. Saturday is always my favorite.
Please, when did you date for the assignment?
Did it to the assignment normal day, Monday.
Okay. Monday.
Monday. Hey now, today is Saturday now.
Today is Saturday now.
Oh yeah, Tuesday.
It's almost
Winifred.
gone.
Winifred,
Yes,
shoot.
please, I want to ask. Are we adding the link again to the assignment?
Of course, the normal way you did it last time.
So like removing just
Launch
a
your
just
GitHub.
the distribute page, right?
I say you're creating a new repo. Don't touch the former repo.
Okay.
You're creating a new repository for this new assignment. Don't forget, launch your GitHub page, put the link in your README file, then you submit your repo link. You guys know a lot of you, that's why I did not score 10-10 the last time. Kofo, it's Kofo year. Adejola. Okay, I think Solomon has been up since. Solomon, go on, please.
Okay. Can we add to what we have already?
Like I said, no, you can't. You are creating a new repository.
Okay.
You can copy the code from the last time, Sha, and then paste it in the new one. But you must have a lot of details. Because I must read it, I must enjoy it, I must see fine decoration. If I go and see anybody put any animation there, zero. Okay, Adejola, please go on.
So I don't know if like there's a video for how to do all that readme repo stuff. Cause
Yeah, the video is on the group chat. Where's class captain? Is Lade here?
Well, for the class captain.
Where's Lade? Lade looks like one of the most active people in that group chat. Lade is not here. Who else? Winifred. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you help this boss with the link. What's the name of that person? Who was that person just now, please? What's her name, please?
Yeah, Adejola Samson.
Adejola Samson. Okay. There's a link on the group chat for where I taught how to create the GitHub page and if you are on the group chat, are you on the group chat?
Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of people that are joining this class now, they're not even on the group chat. People that are already removed. Any other question? God, I beg. Moyo.
Okay, so I wanted to ask a question that is it fine if we create a box for our image, like a border and stuff, like creating a box for the image?
I thought you guys bother now. I thought you guys bother. So I'll be expecting that. Everything I thought I'll be expecting it. But if I go and see what I did not teach you, okay, yeah, you can. Would I say you can go extensively to get other styling ideas? But if I am not expecting a CSS mechanism, certain mechanism like the use of CSS box, the use of CSS grid, the use of CSS float, those three things, I'm not expecting to see them in your code. Float, grid, and then flex. I'm not expecting to see any of the three of them.
But we can draw that is relating to what you taught us.
Exactly, you can, but if I see media query like this, that's zero. If I see
I think you said just flex, grid and float.
But we can draw that is relating to what you taught us.
Yes, can. I'm not expecting it to be mobile responsive. If it is mobile responsive like this, that's zero.
Why will it be mobile responsive? We shall be that one.
Exactly, it's nice. If you don't understand, then you are okay.
We don't understand.
People that I'm talking to, they know themselves. Precious, if I kick you. Precious, Moyo, Yewande, the three of you. Exactly. Yewande is a different snapper. Yeah, Yewande, let us hear you, boss.
Boss, I think to be on the safe side, maybe you should give us a list of what you don't expect and what you expect.
What I'm
Exactly.
expecting
Thank
is
you.
I'm expecting what I thought to. It's a finished syllable.
Because I think grid will be useful, but you said don't use flex, and now you've said don't use grid the same time.
And you want
Exactly.
it
I
to be
don't use float
beautiful.
too.
How?
It will be
What's
beautiful.
wrong with float?
What happened to text?
You
Align.
might want to use something with your image.
Text align.
Wow.
Very
Oh,
big
thank
word.
you.
Please, are you going to paste the assignment on the group chat?
Omo, I can't do. It's Koforola, yeah. Koforola. Kofo is not here.
Yes, boss. How can I help you?
Okay.
Can
Please,
you hear
Kofo,
me?
remind me. Yes, boss. Remind me by this night that I want to draft the assignment guide.
What
Or draft the
time?
assignment guide.
What time?
1 a.m. Will you
We
still be
like
awake by
you.
then?
What time? Like I can 1 a.m. Okay, no worries.
Thanks, boss.
What
You think it's everybody that actually fly at night like you? You know, 7 p.m. you're already sleeping, not gonna reach chair for them in that side. They got to catch all of you. So for the assignment, if you can outsource, for float. You guys happy now?
Float or media query? Which one?
No media query. You can read up on floats. You can learn how to use floats and then use floats in the assignment. So you one day happy.
Please, hold on, don't be afraid. To be clear, float as in transaction, transmission at the rest, Abby.
Who told you that one? Year one day, is year one day here?
Okay.
I'm here.
Year one day, please give me an example of floats.
I'm talking about the image. Like, you might want to apply float to the way the
Yeah, so
image looks like.
how do you apply float? Float what?
Please don't. You want me to repeat the tutorial? Boss, you can explain for us now. I'm a
No,
learner too.
seriously, I'm also a learner. I want to explain because Precious just entered another thing that's not even close to float at all. And I'm
I don't
looking
know
at her.
what Precious is talking about though, so myself, I don't know anything.
Me, I don't know what you are talking about, so I'm talking about my own float though.
Alawa.
No, let's not use any float. Because that is why it's confusing me.
I don't even understand what is float. What is float? I beg. Wait till
Please,
be
what is
float.
float? Exactly. Yeah, but please throw more light.
The people that are more
This is
advanced
float.
do what they want to do.
This is float here.
What's float? I beg.
So float
Me, I
is
don't know
float.
what to be float.
Float gives your it gives your text or your image this thing align other text to like cover it. Like if you can see by arrangement now, this H1, the P that's underneath the H1, but because I gave the H1 a float of right, it went to the right and then the P that covered it. Not really covered, I came to the other side. So instead of using display flex, like majority of you can use float. So you can say I have this. But now if you cannot use float, you don't have to use float. Those that can use float can use float. But I don't want grid, I don't want flex. If I see transition in Precious, you have already got Jabo, I bet transmission already. If I see transition in there, you tell me I did animation for.
I don't even know what is float. I don't know what's
Moyo.
I don't know why you are calling my name.
Moyo, shoot, please.
What about what's this thing called though? I don't even remember. Box shadow and text shadow.
Voila.
Box shadow, text shadow. Yeah, you can outsource those ones also. What I'm just saying you should not use.
Okay.
No media query.
No flex box.
No flex box. No CSS grid. No animation.
No bootstrap.
So no result. Whoever use bootstrap like
No
this, once I see bootstrap like this, I won't even read any other thing.
No tailwind.
No react.
I can beat my chest clearly that all of you there not react. Except Precious that can write
I
small.
cannot write it though.
I don't know what to be at. Stay with self, I don't know. Boost all this is
Year one
invention. I
day,
don't know shit.
year one day.
Yes.
Please can you text me on WhatsApp? Let's talk.
Okay.
Okay, boss. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, now have a nice day of you. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel.
Thank you for
Stay
touching
blessed
somebody's head.
and pray.
Thank
And
you.
pray.
The class was
Thank you,
fun.
boss.
And pray Thanos doesn't touch you today.
Thank
Because
you,
majority of that
but
are yes. You guys know some of the assignment.
I beg, they try, they represent man too now. Every time, woman, every time. Now year one day,
Timon
before
arrest.
all that,
Every
then
time.
when I go the year, wisdom this year,
Boss,
Solomon
make I
this year.
text you too now.
Okay, so all my life, I never stayed with guys. I've always stayed with women. So now I know the rate to now. Now don't vex.
It's
Now,
still women
wow,
all my
you don't
life
stay with
too.
your
Try
papa
to
for
rate
house.
us.
I be
Oh.
staying with
Like,
women.
Zainab,
What's
shoot,
happen?
please.
Yes, sir. Please,
Imagine
sorry,
now,
I
guys,
didn't
they
even get
talk
the
because
assignment.
now.
I just
Yeah, I'm going to drop. I'm going to
And she
drop a PDF. I'm going to drop a PDF.
okay. Alright.
Yeah.
I be with women too. I even went to fashion school that is all women, only me and one other guy. We just two.
More your rest.
Boss, I be woman.
Every time you are mentioning
Don't cry
Was not
again.
fair.
Sorry. Don't cry.
My
I
phone die.
want to
You
cry,
probably
I
not
want
leave
to
the
cry, I
class.
don't do. I must cry.
Yeah, of course you can leave the class.
Can we leave the class? Okay,
Of
thank
course
you.
you can.
Now Solomon they top table, you know they mention the name.